AI be monitoring my chat. AI can do everything.
AI.
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 AI. AI.
890 out of 1000 quota students never became toppers.
इस वक्त की बड़ी खबर जहां कोचिंग स्टूडेंट्स ने सुसाइड किया है.
Massive funding, aggressive marketing, burnout, distrust from parents. Still, why do you think many EdTech companies struggle despite huge investments?
दुनिया में सबसे ताकतवर चीज कौन? पैसा. खूब कमाओ पैसा, टारगेट बनाओ 2 लाख करोड़ 3 लाख करोड़, ये नीचे बनाओ ही मत.
Success today is if my son gets passed in IIT entrance, he is a super student. Tomorrow, all the IITM will not have job. Now, what will be the success matrix?
कंसंट्रेशन कैंप. आप अंदर चले गए, आपकी भी कोई गारंटी नहीं है.
ये दुनिया में क्या होता होगा?
The problem lies still for me as a parent of a 9-year-old son. I would say that parents are struggling really hard to get their kids out of the screen.
If we have to look at this problem of screen time, we have to understand first why is the child even going to us? Because he is finding something very interesting in it, in the reels, in the thing, which is actually capturing his attention.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं हूं सौम्या और आपका स्वागत है संवाद कनेक्ट के इनोवेशन सीरीज में। और आज हमारे गेस्ट हैं अभिनंदन कुमार, जो फाउंडर हैं और सीईओ हैं into3.ai, एक ऐसा लर्निंग सॉफ्टवेयर जो एआई बेस्ड है और स्टूडेंट्स को रियल टाइम मॉनिटर करेगा। अभिनंदन के पास 2 डेकेड से ज़्यादा एक्सपीरियंस है टेक्नोलॉजी और ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री का, और इनके अंदर एक लीडरशिप है। ये एक ऐसा विजन देख रहे हैं जहां अपनी रेजिलियंट क्वालिटी से ये एक ऐसा सिस्टम बनाना चाहते हैं जो वाकई लोगों को हेल्प करे। एज पर हिम, इंडिया में कंटेंट का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, प्रॉब्लम है कंटेंट के डिलीवरी में। हम हर किसी को एक ही तरीके से पढ़ाना चाहते हैं, हर स्टूडेंट को एक ही क्लास में बैठाना चाहते हैं, बट दैट इज नॉट द राइट सोल्यूशन, एंड स्पेशली नाउ व्हेन वी आर इन द एज ऑफ एआई। तो चलिए जानते हैं अभिनंदन के बारे में, into3.ai के बारे में इस एपिसोड में। तो पहले तो आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है अभिनंदन। और आज हम एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक डिस्कस करेंगे कि क्या एआई, जिसको हम कहते हैं कि अभी हमारी जॉब्स देने वाला है या हमारा एनेबलर है, आने वाला है या आ चुका है, क्या वाकई ये इंडिया के लर्निंग सिस्टम को फिक्स कर सकता है? सो दिस पॉडकास्ट विल बी मोर अबाउट द एडटेक स्पेस, जो पिछले कुछ दशकों में बहुत ज़्यादा डेवलप हुई है इंडिया में। और एट द सेम टाइम्स हमारे जैसे पेरेंट्स बहुत टेंशन में भी हैं कि अब बच्चा और ज़्यादा स्क्रीन के सामने आएगा, वो स्क्रीन के ही भरोसे पढ़ेगा। सो हाउ टू डिस्कनेक्ट और कनेक्ट फ्रॉम द रियल लर्निंग टू द डिजिटल लर्निंग, एंड दिस कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ गेटिंग टेक्नोलॉजी इनटू द डोमेन। ये पॉडकास्ट हमारा मोर टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में ना हो के एआई का यूज़ इन लर्निंग सिस्टम ऑफ इंडिया, उसके बारे में होगा। तो मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन बहुत ही सिंपल होगा अभिनंदन आपसे। आपने बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात कही है कि इंडियन एजुकेशन में कंटेंट की प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कंटेंट इज गुड इनफ, बट द प्रॉब्लम इज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। व्हाट डू यू एग्जैक्टली मीन बाय दैट?
Approximately, India today has more than 17 lakhs teachers. Out of 17 lakh, at least there are more than 5,000 students who have done well research, PhD and everything. And they are on public platform like YouTube, where they are creating their own videos, putting it out. So as a student, if you want, you have access to everything, and you have access to everything free. Absolutely free. You can go to YouTube, you can find the content and then learn from it. The challenge comes as a student is, if you go to YouTube and then you search, let's say I have to understand what is friction. I went to YouTube, I typed what is friction, and then YouTube showed me 200 options.
Yes.
How do, as a student, I understand that out of these 200 DJs, which is the best? The only metrics I have is which has the most views.
Right.
YouTube pushes it up. If that is the metrics to understand, then what happens is everyone clicks at that video and then tries to learn from it. Some will learn, some will don't. And then who doesn't learn from it, he has the next option. He has to go again and search and find the next video. And then after 2 or 3 videos, if he's not able to understand, he just gives up that, okay, I have this game is nahi ho payega.
Right.
And that is where the problem is. So when EdTechs came into India, they solved one thing for sure. The problem till EdTechs came in India was access to education. So at least that was solved. Now the access to education is to everyone. YouTube is accessible via tier 7, tier 8 student. Most of the EdTechs have recorded lectures accessible at tier 7, tier 8 student. Now the problem is the uniformity of education. One recorded lecture targeted at every student to learn from it, and if they are not able to, then they are a bad student. So that's where our education has moved from what we were to where we are.
That's irony actually कि अभी क्या है, students are overloaded with the information and that is the cause for the confusion as well कि उन्हें पता ही नहीं है कि क्या सही है, क्या गलत है, क्या ज़्यादा सही है उनके लिए. That is so true. So most EdTech platforms focused on, I mean, recorded lectures, rankings, test preparation. फिर भी बहुत सारा ऐसा चंक होता है स्टूडेंट्स का जो अनसीन रह जाता है. व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट कि जो हमारे एग्जिस्टिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं उनमें कहीं ना कहीं लर्निंग को खुद ही वो मिसअंडरस्टूड कर रहे हैं. उन्होंने एक प्रोटोटाइप बना दिया एंड दे थिंक दैट गोज वन सोल्यूशन फॉर ऑल. बट बीइंग ह्यूमन बीइंग्स वी हैव ओन कैपेसिटीज, वी हैव ओन फेलियर्स एंड ओन स्ट्रेंथ्स.
उससे ज्यादा बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, दे हैव मैकेनाइज्ड द होल थिंग. सो व्हाट दे हैव अंडरस्टूड वेरी वेल इज कि कंटेंट है, लेकर के आना है, बच्चा इससे तो बोर होगा ही होगा. तो व्हाट दे डू इज नाउ दे डू प्ले विद द लाइफ ऑफ द वीडियो. सो दे क्रिएट द स्टार टीचर, they rake revenue from them promoting them the star teacher first. Once they see that okay ये star teacher का value नीचे जा रहा है, student इतना नहीं देख रहा है, they create another star teacher, then start promoting his video, and then that's how one or two or three becomes the superhuman teacher and the rest becomes good teacher and the rest are bad teachers. So this is the mechanization which has happened, and this mechanization what has it done is it has made people stop thinking. So what they do is like which clothes is in trend, they see which teacher is in trend right now, and then every
Yes,
student
go
starts
with the
following
flow.
with the go with the flow.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, I mean, how is it possible that one solution for all is fits? Number one. Number two, my understanding would be much more different than your understanding. And when you talk about students, the problem is even more critical because they are the developing minds and they need a lot of nourishment and a lot of helping hand when we talk about different subjects because they have been introduced to these things. So I believe what we are going to discuss in this podcast is more about those developing years when you talk about from class 1 to class 12, the basic foundation years. So my next question is, one thing that stood out in your vision is that your system tries to detect confusion, attention gaps, and learning patterns in real times. That sounds futuristic, but also slightly unsettling to some people. Should parents be worried about AI monitoring their children?
You have to look at it through very different lenses. First of all, what is happening technically is AI through the camera is looking at the kid. It is taking some numbers, values, sending that values to the back end, destroying everything else at the front end. So what the AI is actually taking forward are only numbers, bite-sized numbers 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Only these numbers are taken, no identity, nothing, no data. So all those privacy concerns and will AI be monitoring my chat? No. What it is doing is it is actually trying to understand your child. When I say understand your child, now understanding can be of two things. One is behavioral aspect where you don't have any marker, you can just come and claim anything. Another thing is when you want to substantiate from the noise and be very diligent, you have to have quantifiable measures. Now, what is those quantifiable measures? If you go deep into the researches, which not me, which Stanford has done or Harvard has done or other have done, they have already all established a chain where biomarkers have been the biggest indicator of education. Unfortunately, we haven't used them. What I am trying to do is I'm just trying to adapt those research papers into a practical solution. That's it. It's not that I have invented something. I have just tried to reframe and reuse it and use biomarker as the quantifiable measure against which I am comparing the child that okay, for if you have understood a content, your heart rate should be this. If it is more than that, there is a problem. If there is a more than that, what is the problem? Then the AI tries to find what is the problem. Is he getting stressed or is he excited? Because in both cases, the heart rate will go up. Then it tries to understand if he is excited, what made him excited? Have I given any content which made him excited or not? If no content is given, then there is no point. It is only stress. And then it adapts in real time that okay, if the child is getting stressed, it means that I am doing something wrong. And if as a teacher I am doing something wrong, I need to change it. So it immediately goes back, tells the student, please take a pause, take a deep breath. We will do it very slowly. and then goes back, brings another lecture, shows it to him, and then again it tries to understand the child in a better way. So that is what the system which I have envisioned or we have built, rather than a monitoring system where we are monitoring a child. No, there is no monitoring, there is no kind of good or bad. It's just understanding the child to its core and then personalizing the learning as per them. That's what is the
So
attempt.
that's wonderful, Abhinandan. So that brings me to the important question. Into 3 AI, I mean, the name first catches the attention and then the intent. So, no other better than you to describe what is this.
So into 3 basically is multiplied by 3.
Okay.
So you say 2 into 3, 4
Yeah.
into 3. So that's what the into 3. The intent was very clear. The main reason of keeping this name was we wanted a numerical name. And the reason for that is our target audience mainly is not the tier 1, tier 2 student. We want to penetrate deep into tier 2 to tier 3. And there the parents, 50% of the parents are uneducated. So you can have a very complicated or very, very nice crazy catch like Baiju or EdTech, but it becomes very difficult for them to remember. But a numerical number theme, they will always remember it.
Right.
Even if they don't remember the into
into
part of
part,
it,
yeah.
they will always remember the 3 part of it. So that's what we wanted to have a numerical, and then that numerical to make sense. So then give the into it, so that your caliber, your understanding, your fun, everything gets multiplied thrice, at least thrice when you come to this platform compared to any other platform where you are studying, be it your physical teacher or a virtual teacher or a tech or anything. So that's where the into 3 came.
And telling about the mechanism, how does it works and how is it different from these age ethics?
Say, I don't want even to compare with KTs. They are doing wonderful job in their domain, but what they think is right, they are doing it. How we are different, we have completely approached the learning problem in a different sense.
Okay.
So we, like, for them, content first, promotion second, student third. For us, student first, content second, and discovery third. So that's the approach which we built, and through that approach, we built a foundation model which, in real time, captures not just your heartbeat; it captures your cardiovascular parameter like your heartbeat, stress, temperature, your eye gauge, you're looking at it or not, your emotional variance, your body posture. So what it does is, if when as a child, if you are yawning, that's a simple mechanism like
Yeah.
yawning. So AI captures that in real time, interprets that. If student is yawning, what may be the reason? He's not blaming the student. He's blaming his system that where did I go wrong that the student is right now yawning. And what it does, okay, it identifies that maybe the student is bored or sleepy. If he is bored, content-led problem. If he is sleepy, maybe the day or time is right or not. Maybe I should teach him later. So then it adjusts in real time. If he finds that the student is bored, it will make him play games, play multiplayer games with him, a FIFA with him, or a car race with him. And then once the student has started enjoying back, then bring him back to the education and complete the. So we are not pushing the student, we are pushing the technology. And through technology, we are trying to deliver a solution which can give you a one-on-one experience. And through that, the learning maybe have a better solution. That's what the attempt is.
Wonderful. That's catchy, actually. The problem lies still for me as a parent of a 9-year-old son. I would say that parents are struggling really hard to get their kids out of the screen. I mean, go in the park and go to the park and go with their friends. Yet modern education is becoming increasingly digital. So, isn't there a contradiction here?
If we have to look at this problem of screen time, we have to understand first why is the child even going to us? Because he is finding something very interesting in it, in the reels, in the thing, which is actually capturing his attention. Now, if you replace that interesting thing with a better interesting thing, the screen time remains the same. That's the objective we are trying to build. If he gets all his engagement from one platform, which is actually helping him build, then the screen time is not a worry because it's not compounding. It's not like that 2 hours of reel is separate and then 2 hours of education is separate and then 2 hours of games is separate. If you build everything into our AI gives them reel also, it gives them games also, it plays the games with them also. It might be for a stint of 6 days is not even teaching, he's only playing games with them because it is built to think about the child. What to say? Methodology is that they have to build the relationship first. It will play games with them, and that's absolutely fine. So If the child is getting what he desires from the screen from one platform and the time is capped, then there is no screen time worry.
Yeah, because ultimately we do whatever you want to, but the screen time remains intact. In a day of 24 hours, if 2 hours are not been dedicated, child somehow feels uncomfortable that something is wrong, something is not right in the day.
So I'll ask you a counter question. What do you think is better? Kids should not be given a phone or screen, or kids should be given a phone and they should not will to use it. What is right in your way?
No,
Snatch the phone away or give it to him and empower him that he doesn't use it more than.
no, that's perfectly. I mean, the answer lies with your question only, because it's not a choice anymore. You cannot skip the digital part from the kids' life, because they are the generation who are going to survive in that era only.
So my 4-year kid, he has phone for last at least 2 years, and he learned all his rhymes and everything from phone itself. And I don't scratch it away from or snatch it away from him.
Yes.
It is part of him. It is only what we do is we only try to make sure that his willingness to use phone is only for 2 hours. For rest, every time his urge to do other things is more than the phone, and that will only happen when he has the phone. Is the human mental ability. If you take something away, the mind asks that for even more. If you take sugar out of your life, you will crave for sugar even more. That's the same thing with their life also. If you take digital life away from them, the more they get indulged in digital life, and they will then be not empowered about it. They will use it as much as they could,
Yes.
because they don't know where it will get snatched from them. So I think that debate will rest when you give the digital screen to a child and then create an environment where he doesn't even think about it, because that way you will build a habit which is long term sustainable and it will benefit the child. And when he picks up the digital screen, then is the question, what does he do with that? You want him to use social media, go for reels, cartoons, or you want him to do something, because it's not your wish. You will have to create that environment for him to go for that. If he only finds more value in this, then only he will leave that.
Absolutely.
Or else everything is just a fathom of mind. Nothing is going to happen on the ground.
That's so true. And you cannot push your child. I mean, it's not a daily exercise. It's once in a while you can just ask him to watch something. But till the time the interest is not generated,
So
they'll
what
not
if
go for.
a teacher tries to do, if you solve this question or you complete this quiz, I'll give you 15 minutes of read.
Now that makes sense for kids.
And our AI does that. What if you do this and we play together a game of F1 racing? What if you complete this and we go and do a chess? It's also about incentivizing the small kid's mind to do this, and then his energy is completely different. Now he's thinking in another direction. He's not thinking, how do I complete it? Which he was thinking, how do I skip it?
Right.
So that is how you need to taper that mind to where you want, and that is how we have trained our AI model to be that person in his life who can keep tapering him every time he nudging him every time he slightly tries to go off. And that's where the utility of the platform lies here. It's not about just delivering lectures. Lectures you can have it from anywhere. These are the small things which as a teacher you need to do. Tap him, pap him, scold him, nudge him. These were all individualistic thing which used to happen when we were studying in those days. Now everything has gone out. Now the student is there, lecture is being played on the screen. Okay, whether he wishes to watch it, he can watch it. If he doesn't wish to watch it, he can sleep next around to it. Our platform, if the student is a lecture is being played and student is sleeping or he goes off the camera, the lecture stops.
Okay.
It will not go
This
forward.
ends that.
It will tell you that please come back to the screen and let's continue this, which is very important. It will wait for you for 5 minutes. It will then again ping you to come back. Then it will ping the parent that your child is not in front of the screen. Please ask him to come back or schedule a later time.
Right. The bitter time. I mean, that's so interesting. And even for me, I am like looking forward to have the sessions from your end too. So your platform talks about adapting explanations based on the student's personality and comprehension style. Does this mean the future classroom may become different for every student?
Let's say I am explaining you a kid what is friction. Again, just take that example. And I am explaining it to a very sci-fi kind of a thing which he has never even heard of.
Yes.
And then I am explaining him with the AC remote which he has seen daily. Which one do you think has the better chance of him understanding?
I mean, hands-on carries the more important.
No, not hands-on. It's more like things from his environment, which he has seen daily, which has used daily. If you use that in explanation, his world becomes
More
very
connected.
no, his actual thinking world becomes very small and centric. And in that centric world, when you drop something, it has much better chance of focusing onto it. Then you create this much bigger world and then drop a small into that. Then the child is lost. ये दुनिया में क्या होता होगा, उसमें कैसा होता होगा, ये plane कैसे चलता होगा. He's not worried about the friction point because there are so many things for him to look at it and worried about. So that is why when I say what we try to do is we try to not personalize it but hyper personalize it. So 147 parameter goes into deciding what content will be delivered to this child, and that 147 parameter includes not just his pace, language, but also which family he comes from, which kind of upbringing he has had, what is his area where he lives, what kind of income level that has. So that all, because that helps the AI to understand the environment of the child.
Right.
And through that environment, then he can give examples or give stories which can connect to him to the real life, real world, and make the whole education feel much more real and small and centric. And he can focus on that one particular object and one particular concept which you are giving them. And then you keep on building onto that. You keep reinforcing that. You keep practicing that. You keep putting more example onto the perspective, and then building his horizon of understanding. And that is what the Socratic behavior which we have built into that platform.
So that goes for every individual student.
So at any given point of time, let's say right now, if 1 crore student is studying on my platform and they are all going to learn about what is friction, each 1 crore student will get their own unique hyper personalized lecture without even a single one being repeated.
That's actually a great startup for that matter. So you specifically mentioned about something very important. 890 out of 1000 POTA students never became toppers. Why was it important for you to build the average student instead of only high performers?
Okay, again, I'll start with again a question for you. A school which intakes only 99% pass students and gives you a 95% result, and a school who has taken a 33% student and given 75% result, which one is better?
The doing for 33 ones.
But you make heroes.
The creams are there.
You make heroes, the DPS and everything, who takes 99.9% student, and I don't think in the past 20 years of history they have lost 99% result. So you are actually taking a topper and converting 5% of those into a failures.
Correct. The cream layer is getting bad.
When we look at the marks, we look at 99%. We never look at where was he. What is it? Has it increased? Has it decreased? Was it in the last 5 exams? Was he scoring more than that or less than that? How much has been the improvement? Because these numbers tell you one-sided story. It's only a number. It is not an interpretation. Now, interpretation is left for the person who is viewing these numbers. So when we look at 99%, we say, wow, intelligent student. Now, the case might be very different. So all those things, these are legacy problems and it won't get resolved in one day. We can only try, and that's what we are trying. That's why the system for those 890 students were very important, because the rest of that 110 students which happened, or 10 students which happened, you put them anywhere in the world, they will succeed. So if you are comparing to that 10 toppers, you put them in tier 7 city without anything and they will still get you 90% marks, because something which God has blessed them.
Yes.
God has blessed them with ability in certain area which it has not blessed the other student. They might be good in some other area. In this area, they have excelled. So just pat thumping your back that, see, these 10 are my topper coming out of here. I'm pretty sure these 10s, if you put them even in a government school, they will put the equal result.
There as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So getting a bag for these 890 is important. I totally relate to that. So talking about EdTech industry, massive funding, aggressive marketing, burnout, distrust from parents still. Why do you think many EdTech companies struggle despite huge investments?
So the problem at first is, why did they raise the fund first? Because they thought that I am telling a story and people are not believing to it, so I have to tell it again and again and again till it starts sounding a fact. So in the recent history, if you see, there are EdTech companies who has gone for IPO and all. If you track their whole journey, how did it start? It started for free at YouTube.
Yes.
Where they were delivering a content, there were student mass demand and everything. So what they did is they took that content from free and put an X amount to it.
Labeled.
X amount on it to it. Then they took that X amount to it and put a Y amount onto it. And then they got more funding and then put a Z amount to it. So nothing has changed. This delivery, everything, the same teacher was delivering. Now it has changed. Now they have the plethora of teachers. The quality, instead of going up, maybe has gone down because Alak himself was a better teacher than any staff he would have hired. Yesterday he was doing it himself. Now 200 teachers for him is doing that. So that transcendence has not gone. The methodology has not changed. Only thing has changed is yesterday less people were watching me, so I was free. Now more students believe in me, so I am at X amount. Tomorrow whole India will start believing me, so I'll be at Z amount. So if you think the cost is what is changing and cost is what decides what is better, because in this case that is what is changing.
Yes.
Rest everything is constant. The methodology is constant, the material is constant, the chapters are constant, the lectures are constant, everything is constant. The only variable here is the cost. So either it makes me believe that okay, cost is the matrix which we have to track, and if cost is going up, everything is going up. If you believe that is true, then EdTech is doing wonderfully good. And if that is not true, then I think there is something wrong in the understanding. If he had gone more for funding, he should have gone for more methods, more inputs, more methodologies, more Socratic behavior, more understanding. How do I increase that? But instead of that, it is more about how do I increase the reach? How do I get more students into it? How do I get more revenue out of it? How do I increase the cost more? Make it more profitable, more ventureable. So that's what it converts when you get funding and all, and that's what doomed the EdTech industry also. And that's where the whole trust of the parents also got burned, because what happened is Baiju was selling a thing, saying that this is what I'm selling. People got bad behavior. They jumped to the ship to maybe another one. They got the same thing there, now at a different price. They jumped the ship to another one. Again, they got the same thing there, now again at a different price. Again, they jump to some XY, PW, this, that.
Yeah.
You keep getting the same thing at a different price. The only thing which is moving in the market is the price. Rest everything remains a constant. You remove the name from any lecture, you just hide the logo and ask the student, tell me which is this, and you will not be able to differentiate it. So that's what EdTech is. And if you think that is the solution, it's not. It's not about accessibility anymore. I'll add into it a very interesting thing. How did education started? Do you know who was the first student and teacher?
Not aware.
Okay, so the ancient times, very ancient times, Raja Janak, Mithila was the state and Raja Janak was the ruler. So Raja Janak decided to send his son to study, and that is how he sent his son to study with a rishi. And then the train started for but education, which you say
Acha.
facilitated education. Till that time, it was the council of ministers and groups, Senapati, who used to train the Raja in house, and that was the only formal education which anyone could receive. And those knowledge was basically into warfare
Right.
and how to run the state and nothing else. And at that point time, कुम्हार जो था वो अपने बेटे को सिखाता था कुम्हारी कैसे करते हैं, किसान सिखाता था
Skills
किसान कैसे
transfer
करते
होते
हैं. Yes.
थे.
So knowledge was limited to that, and that when Raja Janak sent his son first to the Rishi, that's where the formal education began. At that point of time, what was it? It was a one-on-one personalized education. 7 years, his son stayed with the Rishi, and then came back with all the wisdom and knowledge, and then ruled the world. Looking at his son, more Radha started sending their son to Rishi Agast, Rishi Muni, and all those Rishis became teachers. And there are small groups and very privileged group because only Raja ka beta hi ja pata tha. And then what happened? This Raja system broke down and democracy came in, and they said, why will the education be only for
Limited
the
to those.
elites?
Yeah.
It should be available to all.
All.
And this available to all, education for all, what it did was we went कि हाँ अब हमें सब तक education पहुंचाना है. The motive was reach, not the understanding. So we built a classroom structure where the teacher started giving lectures to more
Mass students.
mass students, a
Yeah.
huge number of crowds. Then more classes start established, and these groups started coming down. And then we decided that a number is 50, 60 or 70 is good enough to have in the classroom. And that's where we structured with more infra and a classroom. Forgetting that the goal at that point of time was not transfer of knowledge. It was availability of education. Now, since 1810 till now, we are still running behind the same goal. We are still running behind the same goal where we have transcended everything. Everything we have changed. Everything. Not only that, education also has changed. When I studied, my fees was 40 rupees. 40 rupees per month. Today, I'm in a private school, not in a government school. In a private school, 40 rupees per month. And today the fees is approximately 25 to 30,000 rupees per month. And what has changed? Same thing, same thing.
Concepts remain the same.
Same teachers, same thing, same teachers also. They have been delivering this concepts or lectures day in, day out for so many years that they have by-hearted it. They don't even change the comma or a full stop in a next year's lecture. If you go and record their last year student lecture or this year student
Remains the
lecture,
same.
they will overall remain the same. Maybe here or there something will change, but overall it remains because it has become their skill now. It is not their knowledge. It has become a skill, and without even using their brain, they can repeat that in even their need or sleep, whatever you can call it. So the objective of the education is still there, that education has to reach. Now it has already reached. You cannot go beyond this. Maybe a tier 7, tier 8 still have a lack of quality education, but education is still there. If you wanted education to be there, education is still there. Beti bachao, beti padhao,
Yes.
all we are.
I mean, they are aware they need to
Yes,
have
their
the same.
their education is there. There is a government school, there's a private school, not a big school, then a small school, but school or some kind of education is already there. Now what? You have to at some point come to a point where you say that accessibility is not the problem, knowledge transfer is the problem. Because tomorrow is a very dangerous world ahead. With AI, more and more AI coming in and more jobs going out, your child will have to have those skills to fight that. He'll have to not only transcend his competitor humans, but he'll have to transcend the boundaries of AI to
as
get
well.
job.
Yeah.
Today you are saying my success today is if my son gets passed in IIT entrance, he is a super student. Tomorrow, all the IITian will not have job. Now, what will be the success matrix?
Absolutely. What will be the parameters of success?
Absolutely. So these are today the things or chapters which you are teaching. They might not even be relevant at that point of time. After 10 years, when your child becomes comes for a skillful industry or where they have to decide on their career, the things which he has learned, it will have zero meaning. So no one is, government is doing something, they are trying their best, but actually in the wholesome, the industry is not moving towards those things where we think about those challenges ahead and focus on the knowledge transfer. It is more still about the certification, how to get that. It is more about the skill aptitude, how to get that, how to get the student placed, how to get the good mark sheet, how to crack the competitive exams, and all those things. The yardsticks has not changed. And that is where we have tried to build this platform where we are never going to say we will build a top. Our claim will only and only be limited to the thing that our platform understands this right and will teach about. Because that's the single line motto which we perform as a duty.
That has to be a golden line when you talk about in the age of AI. If some platform is assuring the parents that the child has been understood, that's more than important to anybody for sure. Let's quickly go through a very interesting section of the podcast. Let's go through the rapid fire round. You won't have time. We just need to have a word on mouth. So we'll go with the first is one thing schools should stop doing immediately.
Building bigger and bigger buildings.
Yeah. You talk about they are more like a 5-star properties now. Next, marks or curiosity? What matters more long term?
Curiosity.
Perfect. Would you let your own child study entirely through AI?
Yes.
Okay. Biggest myth about AI in education?
That AI can do everything.
Right. One habit students should develop beyond academics?
Asking questions.
Perfect. Do you think children today are under more pressure than previous generations?
Obviously, every next generation will be under more pressure.
Because more information. Can AI ever teach empathy?
No. But AI, instead of teaching empathy, AI should have the feeling of empathy. That is more important.
And I believe in 2-3 is getting that thing.
Not purely right now, but we aim to get to that level where AI also has the empathy. Right now, it is more symptomatic than empathetic.
So that leads me to a very important question, probably towards the end of the discussion too, that your journey, it involves rebuilding after a major setback and investment fraud. Most founders would have quit after that. So what kept you going?
I can earn salary, good revenue, good salary anywhere. The objective of starting into 3 or the mentioned before, it was not to get to a level where I am successful or having more numbers. It was to solve a problem. And that till the time it is resolved, I'll keep working. Let may come how many setbacks that come. One thing is for assurity, you will see things changing in the resume, but that objective will remain the same till the time it's solved. Maybe I am able to solve it, or I can inspire someone bigger to solve it. But that attention has to come on this side of problem, because without education, a country is nothing. You cannot have rampants running the whole thing and then think of it that tomorrow India will be a superpower. For that, the next generation has to have that information, knowledge, courage, everything, so that they can ask questions, they can build the society, and then no better social work in the world can happen without education. And that's where I'm trying to get people's attention.
Absolutely. And Abhinandan, I would resonate to your voice that yes, AI can give all the answers we want to have. But what I support is putting the right question is our responsibility. And for that, we need to explore.
So if you look at our platform, if you want to ask any questions, you cannot. Our AI or LLM, which we call AI, LLM is not the AI. LLM is one part of AI, and our LLM is not online. So you cannot access it. If you ask a question, AI will counter question. You ask your understanding, ask your reasoning, then it will solve a sample question and it will ask you to solve another question. And then submit that, check your understanding, and then move forward. So you see, in old age or even when you see scientific research, it tells you very clearly friction is what teaches you. There was a scientist in 1926, he did a survey. What he did was he brought together two groups. To one, he gave everything very simple and made it very comfortable for them, and they did it very quickly. For another group, he made it hell. He created so much friction that they were not even able to solve one question, and they keep repeating. So what happened at the end of the day? This group got marks was very high. This group got very average marks. And then if the thing continued in the real world and they were given things to make and solve, this group was not able to do it, and this group did it very happily. And then he concluded, a human mind learns from its mistakes. You only remember things which you have not been able to do,
Right.
wishes which are not fulfilled, ideas which is not commenced. You don't remember things which you have already done it, until and unless you have done it exceptionally well. I have done that. So that is how the human mind is. It learns from friction. But our education methodology is to simplify everything. Gamify कर दो, आसान बना दो, बच्चा आसानी से सीख लेगा. आसानी से सीखेगा नहीं, आसानी से याद कर लेगा. और याद जब करते हो आप, तो आप आसानी से भूल भी जाते हो. आप उसको जितना आसान बना के दोगे, वो उतना आसानी से याद करेगा, और जितनी आसानी से याद करेगा, उतनी आसानी से उतनी जल्दी भूल भी जाएगा. So you will have to incorporate friction into it instead of making it more easier, frictionless, and worryless for the student. And that's where I think human energy should focus on creating these frictions and make them learn better, and leave the roadstock side of learning to the AI. And that's how together we can involve with the ecosystem and bring better out of each student.
That's wonderful. I mean, technology can become dangerous when it replaces human understanding, but its real potential lies in helping understanding learning better. The future of education is not about making students compete harder, but helping them learn in a way that finally meets their personalities. So, Abhinandan, I'm wrapping this podcast, but I am finding these information so very interesting, insightful. I'm looking forward for your platform for sure. My only last request would be, how did you feel to be connected with Samvaad Connect? Because we work for awareness, and primarily we work for mental health awareness. And talking about students these days, kids these days, it is a challenge. I'm not going to say it's a problem or it's a solution, it's a challenge.
So, it'll feel like a marketing, but I'm not doing that. We are actually the first platform which teaches you based on the mental wealth signals. The moment it sees stress rising, it stops teaching. There is a whole mental wellness module where the student is diverted to that, where they are playing games for mental wellness, the stress burst out, and all those activities they are doing, then bringing the mental wellness down or mental stress marker down, and then the thing continues. Because eventually, in just when the CBSE results came, one girl who was in Kanpur, we would have to do a Reddit. She was class given, and she got 92% marks, and she still committed suicide. And that wouldn't have happened in one day. It would have happened on a daily basis. Somewhere down the line, she understood that 95 is the bare minimum. Someone figured it into her brain, and maybe if our platform was there, it could have detected and saved that life. And I only see that problem occurring again and again, and I see it becomes more detrimental on me to launch it as soon as possible, and then maybe we are able to help them.
That's so sure, and my heart goes out for the students. Every year, talk about BTech, we talk about medicals, and every year the quota news. It's so very disheartening that parents send their kids far off to study and to become something, to get success in their life, but ultimately they end up at a very tragic position. So if this AI could be an enabler and could help them to understand better about their own priorities, it's your life first.
Yes.
Any education can come later, but your life comes first.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I said now. Maybe if at that point of time into 3 was there, it would have given a real time signal to the parent that the stress is riding in your child. Please go and have a chat with her. Then on that notification, you would obviously as a parent react, go and try and establish a dialogue and see what is wrong with her. Have more eyes on her than normal. So maybe, I'm not sure how it will change or not, but
Yes.
maybe it could have helped.
They could have been a possibility.
Yes, there could have been a possibility.
Definitely. So looking forward for this wonderful platform. All the best and congratulations to you, and thank you for giving your time for Samvaad Connect as well. And looking forward for another series as well. Once you are through with the platform, probably in a period of 6 months or so that we can understand that how exactly the LLM. I believe the LLM is going through with this.
LLM is one part of AI where you LLM is large language model. What
Okay.
it does is it understands human intent and then it corroborates and replies in the same language. That's
Oh.
what LLM is.
Wonderful. Looking forward and stay catch. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.